Welcome to Pera's Playbook. This is your host, Alex Pera. Let's open up our playbook and see who our guest is. Please enjoy. Welcome to episode 96 of Pera's Playbook. Today I'm joined by Jess Michals of the Endicott women's hockey team. Jess, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for joining me. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here with your hockey career, kind of your family, and a few other things. And we might as well start with your hockey family and growing up in a family where so many people played hockey at a high level. I'll rattle them off here quick just so people get an idea of how big
Oh,
hockey was in your family. Um, your dad
wait.
played at UConn and coached at Franklin Pierce. Your uncle played at Babson. Your grandpa played semi-pro hockey and is in the Massachusetts Hockey Hall of Fame. And your cousin plays at Holy Cross, and your sister plays at Assumption, and then you played Endicott. So a lot of hockey. So growing up, I mean, I'm assuming pretty early you started playing hockey.
Yeah, I started skating at like the age of 2 or 3. Also, my sister is actually transferring next year to Suffolk, who's actually our
Okay,
rival. So that will be interesting. I've never actually played against her before.
yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of role models, growing up. A lot of people to look up to with your dad and grandpa and uncles and everything.
Yeah, so growing up, me, my sister, and honestly my cousin, we all grew up playing together. My dad and my uncle used to run a club program together, the New England Pride, out of the Pheasant and Ice Rink. So they had that for, I want to say, at least like 8 to 10 years. So that's where I kind of, I don't know, fell in love with hockey, but I started at a really young age. I mean, my dad played for UConn, so kind of just ran in our blood.
Right. Yeah, 2 years
Mhm.
old is pretty. There's probably some kids that are still learning to walk at 2, and you're learning to skate.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So when did your recruiting start for you? How old were you?
For college, it started probably, um, I don't know, I want to say sophomore or junior year. I went to boarding school at Lawrence Academy. So I played 3 sports there. I played field hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse. But for a while, lacrosse was just as important to me. I played for a club team, Mass Elite, most of my life. So for a long time, I thought I could do both and thought about doing both, or honestly flip-flopped and forth between those. And then I started playing field hockey at Lawrence Academy. So then I would actually fell in love with field hockey, and I was like, maybe I could do just field hockey and hockey. But then when COVID hit, I realized I just wanted to focus on ice hockey. So my recruiting process started more so towards my junior year, I want to say. And I looked mainly at D3 schools around the New England area and then some low D1. But when I saw Endicott, I knew that that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah, so it was a pretty easy decision for you.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely some bumps along the road, like just like anyone else.
Yeah.
But I think once I saw Endicott and started talking with the coach at Endicott, I knew that that's where I wanted to go just because of the campus, the atmosphere, the rink. I mean, all of it kind of all fell into place.
Yeah, I mean, recruiting is, I mean, I don't know from personal experience. I just know from interviewing people, but I mean, obviously it's super stressful. It's hard enough to pick for like just for a regular kid, where do I want to go to school? But then you add in like playing a sport and like where do I want to play my sport and go to school? It makes the decision twice as hard. So it's definitely a stressful period because nobody wants to have to enter the transfer portal. I mean, that's just a pain and a lot of extra stress. So you want to try to pick right first. So it's definitely a stressful period.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely takes a lot of like planning and touring campuses and talking to coaches, but at the end, it's all about finding what works for you and where you like.
Yeah. And you'll be going into your fourth season at Endicott now?
Yeah, I'll be a senior. Mhm.
Yeah. So it's like looking back, are you happy with the decision you made?
Yeah, I think like when like certain things happen, like for me, I never really expected to be injured my junior year and stuff like that. But like when you go through something like that and you have teammates who are there for you no matter what, even though you're not like actively playing, in every game, it kind of shows that you picked the right place.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of when I realized, like, I already did realize, but that's when I definitely realized that this was the place that I needed to be.
Well, let's talk about that for a little bit. You said that you tore your ACL. How did it happen? Was it practice, in game? Was it something else?
Yeah, so it was actually kind of like a fluke accident. Like, it probably wouldn't happen. It's not very common, honestly, in ice hockey, but it happened in practice over January break. And we had just that past weekend had a double, I guess if you will, double header against UNE. And we had beaten both of them. And then it was just like a random practice. It was actually January 16th. I just remember the date. But I was going into the corner for the puck, won the puck battle, and then toe picked and then smashed into the boards. But I've never really been injured before. So I thought, I mean, obviously I was like in pain, but then I was like, okay, maybe I can try to stand up. And when I tried to stand up out of it, I just collapsed back down. And then one of my teammates and coach got the trainer. And then when I couldn't stand up and needed help off, I kind of realized maybe it was something more than just like a bruise or something. So then I got undressed and then the trainer evaluated and he was like, I really think it's your ACL. And then the next day I had an appointment with like a sports medicine doctor, got an MRI. And then 2 days after that, I got the results and I tore my ACL. So
Yeah, that's not a not an easy like injury to recover from either. Like for people that I've talked to, it's very grueling recovery process. So where are you at in your recovering process? I mean, are things going well?
yeah, so I actually just got cleared to skate for the first time. So my first skate back is actually going to be Monday. Obviously, it'll be baby steps, kind of just like when you return to run for the first time, but it's definitely huge. I'll be 6 months out, August 6th, so I'll be able to skate a little bit before that, but it definitely will be exciting to get back out there.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy how long of a recovery it is. 6 months and you can finally skate again. What was the
Yeah.
hardest part for you? Like what time period of the recovery was the most difficult?
I would say definitely like the first week after surgeries when you're faced with the most pain. You're kind of more so like in your bed, can't really do a whole lot. And then I would say the most like challenge I faced was like knowing how to ask people for help when I was on crutches and stuff because I don't know, I'm just used to like obviously carrying everything on my own and not really needing that help. So I think that was tough because you in the back of your mind are like, oh, they need to do stuff for themselves, but you're kind of dependent on someone else for a while.
Right. And I'm sure it's hard too, like you're used to doing so much and when you can't do it, it's hard knowing you're like you can't do the normal stuff, like just walking down the hallway at your house or whatever. Like you just can't do that basic everyday stuff that nobody thinks about.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. Like just even like going to the dining hall, like I would have to walk with like a friend or teammate and pick out what I wanted. And then they would have to carry it back to the table. Or like if I just wanted to get coffee and bring it to class, like I couldn't carry it. So that was just those little things or like having to crutch up and down the stairs every day for 3 weeks, just added time and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you have any big goals for yourself, like coming into this next season, after the recovery?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously going to be my senior year and having sit out the second half of my junior year. I would love to like be able to play every game for my senior year and just be an active member and like make an impact on and off the ice. And then we didn't end up winning our conference championship last season. So I would love to do that this upcoming season.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely good goals. When does the team start skating together?
Sometime in like mid-September, we're allowed to have like practices, and then we officially start in October practicing, and then our first game is November 3rd, and then our first conference play is the weekend of November 7th. So I do have a little bit of time to like get ready and
Yeah, to get back into it.
yeah, yeah, which is
But
good.
Yeah, that's nice that you don't have to feel rushed. Like all the teams doing stuff in 2 weeks, and I haven't skated for 6 months. You've got some time to get your legs back under you and build up some strength in skating. Because obviously, skating is different than walking and running. So I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of a challenge at first to get back out there.
Yeah, definitely. It will be an adjustment for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about one other positive thing that I feel like it's kind of a positive in everybody's college hockey career. It's your first college goal. Do you remember it like pretty vividly in your head?
Yeah, I actually kind of think about it often because it actually was during playoffs. So I scored my first goal my freshman season. I want to say it was February. I don't remember the exact date, but we were playing Curry College, and I just went for my forehand and my backhand, dangled the goalie and scored. And then we ended up winning in the semifinals, and then had the championship the following weekend against UNE.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's an exciting first goal. And you got a couple more too later on throughout your career. Some people I know they only get one goal and I mean it's better than getting none, but it's nice to have a few throughout your college career. Hopefully you can
Yeah,
add to that this season too.
yeah, for sure.
So, growing up in such like a hockey family, I'm sure like you guys were all hockey fans too, not just playing it, but like did you have a favorite hockey team growing up?
Yeah, I mean, being from Boston, my favorite team has always been the Bruins,
Yeah.
just always.
Yeah, that makes sense. Most Bruins fans, I feel like, are pretty diehard. I mean, you get people who live in big cities and they're fans of other teams, but I feel like there's certain teams where everyone kind of like Bruins fans, they're pretty diehard.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Who's your favorite player growing up?
My favorite player has always been Sidney Crosby, which can be a little controversial, but
Yeah.
he has always been my favorite player.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
kind of funny. I expected you to say a Bruins player for sure, not Crosby. That's definitely surprising.
yeah. I mean, a close second is definitely Brad Marchand, but
Yeah.
I will say I've always loved Sidney Crosby.
Is everyone in your family a Bruins fan, or are there any like rifts where somebody else is a fan of a different team?
Yeah, no, I think for the most part, everyone likes the Bruins in my family. Uh, Sometimes my sister will like a different team depending on where her favorite goalie is playing at. But other than that,
Yeah.
yeah, we're all Bruins fans.
So you guys like all New England sports teams like Patriots, Red Sox, Celtics, the whole works?
Yeah, all the New
Yeah.
England sports.
Yeah. That must have been exciting too as a kid growing up being a Patriots fan in Boston.
Yeah, it was really cool, honestly. There's been a lot of championships over the time.
Yeah, I mean between the Red Sox have at least one World Series, maybe two, and then the Celtics some championships, the one they just won, and then one back in the 2000s, and then obviously the Bruins and then the Patriots with all the Super Bowls. It's definitely a good city to be a sports fan in.
Yeah, definitely.
So what are your hobbies other than like if you're not playing hockey, what do you like to do for fun?
I like to go to the beach, especially being at Endicott. We have beaches right outside, which is nice. We have two. And then I also work out, hang out with
Has it been
friends.
has it been hot over by you this summer? Like has it been good beach summer?
Yeah, it's been good. It's definitely been a little more humid than I like, but I'll just go into
Yeah.
the ocean if it gets too hot.
Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't been too hot here in Michigan. It's been like a weird summer. Ton of rain over here. Like just I feel like for the first part of the summer, it rained like 3 days every week. It was kind of
Oh,
brutal. You couldn't
wow.
go to the beach, you couldn't golf, you couldn't really do anything outside. It was kind of brutal, but now it's starting to change. That's the best part about summers, like going to like the beach and golfing and stuff. When you can't do that, so what's the point?
I know, exactly.
And like what kind of music do you like? Like pump up music or I guess if you're just chilling, what like doing homework or whatever.
I definitely like rap or pump up music before a game or just in general. But I would say recently I've definitely been listening to Zach Bryan over the past couple of years. He's been my favorite artist. But yeah.
Yeah, he really blew up like over the last couple of years. I know a lot
Yeah,
of
he
people that
has.
have been going to his concerts, and you see, just people going to the concerts, and they look like they'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And why don't we end the episode just like throwing a random question? Like, if you could never play hockey again, I know you said you were big into field hockey and lacrosse. So, what sport would you play if somebody said you can never play hockey again?
It's a tough one. Obviously in between lacrosse and field hockey. But I think I would have to go with lacrosse because I spent most of my life besides hockey playing it too. So
Yeah,
yeah, maybe
and
lacrosse if I couldn't.
there's definitely like similarities though, like between lacrosse and hockey, and obviously field hockey. I mean, there's similarities between all three sports. So I feel like playing them growing up, it had to have helped. Like when you were playing one, it helped the other one too.
Yeah, definitely. Especially I feel like I was in some of my best shape when I played lacrosse because the testing and running we did was crazy.
Yeah, we gotta have good cardio for those sports.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, and I wish you the best of luck with the rest of your recovery with your injury and getting back into the groove with skating and everything, and hopefully you have a great senior season. But yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
It
of
was
course. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more episodes soon.